Hi folks, this is all the fruit, and here I have a line of young Gingko trees. Nothing unusual in Europe. It's been cultivated here for hundreds of years, also in North America. But it has been cultivated in China for thousands of years. It has been cultivated for so long that we are not even sure if they are still native, natural stands in the wild. There are a couple small groves which could either be natural or like old growth planted groves planted by Chinese monks. We don't know. It has a very old history with Chinese people, but its history goes a lot further back than that. If you look at the tree, well, it looks like your average angiosperm. It has broad leaves of a slightly strange shape. It has round plum-like fruit. Later we'll see that they even have a plum-like seed inside. Well, the bark, also nothing special. Well, the funny thing is that this plant is much older than flowering plants or angiosperms. It's actually more closely related to gymnosperms. It's a very, 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 very old plant. The family is like about 270 million years old. So this tree lived together with the dinosaurs, and it hasn't changed much since then. And that's why those fruit are actually not plums and nothing closely related to plums, but the Ginkgo gametophyte is in there. Well, I guess you cannot see that most of those trees have actually no fruit. Ginkgo has male and female trees. This is quite rare for trees. Usually they have male and female flowers or hermaphroditic flowers on every tree. But in the Ginkgo tree, well, there are fruit on the first tree, on the second tree, no fruit on the third tree. Here, no fruit on the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth tree, and I cannot see any further. So male and female trees. And if you are clever, you should plant only the female trees. Why? I mean, I love fruit. Why am I being against the planting of some fruit? Are those fruit toxic or non-edible? Well, first a warning. When you handle the fruit, the outer coating and the flesh can actually cause dermatitis, just like poison ivy if you are allergic to the fruit. It can be eaten by some people. Some people eat it without harm, but other ones get blisters and a rash like from poison ivy. Let's open one of those fruit-like things. Inside you see the main treat. Well, this can be eaten and also processed into stuff. This is the main prize. The gametophyte is hidden inside this hard shell. Bah. Okay, now I'm sucking the flesh off the shell. Why shouldn't you plant the ginkgo? Well, blah. Because it smells horribly of puke. Oh my god. The taste is not just as bad, there is still some puke in the taste. It's mostly sweet and sour. Blah. But although I ate just a tiny piece of a fruit, my breath now smells like puke. Well, and then that answers my question why you shouldn't plant this, or at least not in residential, why you should not plant the female trees, at least in residential areas. Like most gardeners around here are clever, they just plant the male trees, but in the Heidelberg University campus and also in some other streets of Heidelberg, they plant the female trees. And this is a small tree. It has probably just about 100 or 150 fruit, but big trees can have tens of thousands of fruit. And imagine the smell. in a residential area, if you have a street planted with 20 or 30 of those fruit, and you basically have half a truckload of rotting, squished fruit on the ground, smelling of puke, you don't even want to live in this street around the Ginkgo season. Well, but despite the horrible smell of the fruit, it's a very valuable plant. For the Chinese, it has a lot of cultural and religious significance. Old trees can look really amazing. They remind me a bit of cottonwood or willow trees, of ancient cottonwood or willow trees. They can get like some structures which look like aerial roots which descend from the branches and give it an appearance of a really great and ancient tree. I should have made this video next to some ancient ginkgo, but when I passed those young ones, I just remembered that I haven't made a ginkgo video yet. So a lot of cultural significance. Also, the leaves can be used for medicine. The seed is a staple in East Asia. My Korean flatmate had bags full of flour made from the seed, and he said they were not even very expensive. Here I cracked one of those triangular, well, I guess you cannot call it seed. You have to call it some sort of tester around the gametophyte to expose the gametophyte. I actually made a video when I cracked and cleaned and roasted those gametophytes, or most people would call them seeds. This is actually a nice, good-sized one. Well, that's what it looks like on the inside. By the way, the European name Ginkgo is just some sort of misconception. It was called Ginkyo or Yingyo or something like this in Chinese, which means something like silver fruit or silver apricot or silver plum, and the Europeans misunderstood it, and thus the strange name Ginkgo. Yeah, okay. I mean, I'll try the fresh gametophytes too. Funny. Not bad. If I knew that it was not toxic in their raw state, I might even nibble them raw. But I'm not sure of that. By the way, despite being cultivated for hundreds of years in Europe and North America, there are no significant records of it escaping into the wild or becoming invasive. In fact, the Heidelberg Botanic Garden, which is right over there, is pretty much the only place where I've seen hundreds of little seedlings growing without any care from the gardeners. So, yeah, basically I can only advocate to plant this tree, but only plant male trees in residential areas. If you really want the females, plant them somewhere far away from houses and streets, or your neighbors are gonna hate you. So folks, this was the Ginkgo biloba, a tree from China. Stay tuned for a lot more fruit videos from the parks and gardens of Germany. And don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe.